Hello and welcome to A View from the Bridge. My name is Joel Lammy, joined today by co-host Richard. How are you doing where you are today, Richard?
Very well, thank you. Always one of my favourite times of the year. This is the build-up to the cricket season, and then we've got a few other sports exciting as well. So, yeah, I think this is definitely one of my favourite times of year. So, yeah, looking forward to the start next Friday.
I think we're both on a bit of a high as Nottingham Forest fans after the week we've just had. Winning in Europe, beating Tottenham. I mean, what's everyone been complaining about? Everything's going great. It's what could be better than Andy Reid on commentary? Doesn't get better than that when Forest wins. So, brilliant. So, yeah, it's been a nice weekend for us. And tomorrow, as we record this, is the first day of pre-season in this country for Notts. So they're playing Loughborough students, which we're excited for. But it's now under 2 weeks until the start of the county championship season. And our first game is away at Taunton, a place where Notts have only won since 1985. So omens aren't very good. But we're delighted today to be joined by Ian Shepherd from the Always Look on the Bright Cider Life. I always butcher that one up. Podcast. A big Somerset fan who is here to give us some insight into the side, his thoughts, and where he thinks both sides will come in the championship. So, Ian, thank you very much for joining us. Do you want to tell our listeners and viewers a bit about yourself and your love of Somerset?
Well, we'll start by the football first. It wasn't a great day for me as an Arsenal fan watching them lose to Man City yesterday, but obviously fully behind Forest in their relegation clash. So well done for beating Tottenham yesterday. I've been a Somerset fan all my life. Started the podcast sort of 5 years ago, really, during COVID. Everyone's kind of quite isolated. There wasn't really much going on with cricket. So we thought, let's start it. Put a sort of a Hail Mary on Twitter, got a few replies, picked up a few people along the way. And it's been going really well. I think we're up to 165 episodes now, something like that. So that's going really well. Somerset are great with sort of helping me out with interviews and stuff like that, and give me a bit of lunch when I can manage to sneak up to the press box and get away from my day job for a bit. So, yeah, going really well. And as you say, guys, looking forward to the season starting next Friday. I sort of woke up this morning and sort of remembered that Somerset are playing cricket this week. Pre-season friendly starting on Friday against Glamorgan. The Cooper Associates County Ground in Taunton. So if we can dodge the showers and have a good little pre-season game there, can't wait.
Yeah, absolutely. Do you still get that sort of buzz of excitement ahead of a new season? I mean, as a Somerset fan, it must be one of those where you're probably not going to get relegated, but somehow you're probably not going to win the championship. It must be a weird feeling that, isn't it, I suppose, having come so close so often.
Yeah, I mean, looking at the strength of the squad this year, I think with sort of the absence of the signing of a second overseas player, they may be trying to avoid the situation of that's happened over the last few years, where quite a lot of young bowlers have left and gone on to pastures new to look for more opportunities. Sonny Baker would be one that springs to mind straight away. So it looks like they're going to kind of keep the core of the senior players, but leave slots open to give the likes of Alfie Ogborn and JT Langridge a good go in the championship this year.
I mean, Casey Aldridge was another one, isn't he? I believe he's gone. I mean, that's it's the thing with Somerset. They seem to keep producing all these players. I mean, I looked at the T20 side, which won, and you look at the players who don't even get into the side, the likes of James Roos and players like that who weren't even getting in. Such strength and depth, isn't it? It's remarkable.
Yeah, Tom Lammonby's the one. I mean, a couple of years ago, it's Gloucester. He played, one of the greatest innings that's ever been played for Somerset in the Blast against Gloucester, and now he can't get in the team. So it's real strength and depth there. Certainly in the T20 and the white ball stuff. But as I said previously, seam bowling I think is the area where we could potentially struggle this year. But as I say, I think the club are really making a conscious effort now to give the young lads a chance. But couldn't be happy with the way things have gone in the Blast over the last few years. Absolutely exceptional.
No, you tend to loan players out as well. I think there's Lewis Goldsworthy is one of those you've loaned out. Ben Green during the championship. I know he's gone to Leicestershire now. I mean, you just seem to keep bringing them in. And you got, as you say, new youngsters coming in. the one everyone's talking about is Thomas Rue.
Mhm.
How excited are you for him? Because I've seen him play a little bit, and I've been a massive advocate of James Rue, but I'm thinking, blimey, he might be very unlucky. The fact that his brother might just be a bit better.
I think they call it younger brother syndrome, don't they? When the older brother plays with the younger brother in the garden or wherever, a younger brother has to just play that little bit better to keep up with his older sibling. But yeah, Thomas looks like an absolute gun of a bat. Slightly different to James. Obviously, one's right-handed, one's left-handed, but Thomas seems to just be a lot more wristier with his stroke play, manoeuvring the ball to all parts. James, he can play the big shots, he can play the reverses, but that cover drive of his, which just the punch, that elbow stays in a nice right angle, it just flies away through extra cover. That's his sort of shot. But yeah, looking forward to Thomas. He's got to finish his exams. So I think mid-June is potentially the first time we'll see him in a Somerset shirt this season. And then, of course, he's got 100 gig for the Southern Braves. So we're going to lose him for the One Day Cup. So it's probably going to be September, really, before we see him sort of play any part in the championship. But excited to see him in the Blast, definitely.
Yeah, absolutely. And there's a strange situation with James where he seemed to be signed a 1-year extension and turned into a 3. Is that correct?
No, I think it was just it was a tweet that was kind of misinterpreted by somebody. James's contract was he signed a 3-year deal 3 years ago, I think, and then he's just recently signed a 3-year extension, which takes him through to 2028. So I don't think there was any hint of or suggestion that he was going to leave. I think it was just a few cross wires in certain social media circles that caused those slight panics among certain people. But yeah, never any danger of him going.
That's a shame. I was eyeing that for North, I must admit, thinking we would get him instead of having Carl Ray. He's a great overseas player, but James has been my ideal player. But anyway, well, let's talk a bit about Somerset and how you think you're going to do. I mean, I know, Richie, obviously you're keeping a keen eye on it as well. I mean, what would you like to sort of hear from me in today in terms of Somerset, the batting, the bowling, the all-rounders? What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, I was interested to hear about Casey Aldridge firstly. I mean, I think I might have put him up on the season preview before to say one to look out for. I mean, it didn't quite go as well as it would have perhaps liked. But what were your thoughts about him first of all?
I don't think it never really clicked for him. He had plenty of opportunities, and he's delivered sort of in patches. First game last season against Worcester, he bowled like an absolute dream, picked up 5 wickets in the first innings, and then throughout the season he just never seemed to get his rhythm. He very much seems to be a confidence player. Once it starts going right for him, he can just sort of ride that wave, but he just never seemed to get into any sort of rhythm after that. I can understand fully why he's left, because sometimes you just need that change as a cricketer, just to change of environment, change of coaching, change of voices around you. So just to see if something different will happen. But yeah, I sort of said at the start of the pod, bowlers left Somerset because of a lack of opportunity, but I don't think that was ever the case with Casey. He was given a lot of opportunity, but he never really bowled badly or bowled like a complete drain, but he just never quite bowled as enough. He never bowled as consistently well as you knew that he could. And I think maybe he's just gone to see if another coach or environment can get that out of him.
Yeah, fantastic. Yeah, I mean, it's difficult, isn't it? Sometimes when you've got such a strength and depth as well, it's a bit of a double-edged sword as well, that maybe feel like looking over his shoulder every time he's bowling potentially. But yeah, it might not have been the case for him there. But yeah, hopefully he goes well. It's Durham, I think he's gone to, but yeah, it goes well there. That'd be good to see.
Absolutely. And Somerset, when I look at them, I see flaky top order at times. I know you use some of the bowlers, like Josh Davey opened last year, a very strong, exciting middle order, batting all the way down, and a couple of very good bowlers, but maybe lacking a bit of depth. What would your assessment be?
Yeah, I couldn't put it better than that. I mean, when Josh Thomas and Archie Vaughan opened the innings at Chelmsford in the final game of last season. I think, excuse me, off the top of my head, I can't even remember what number opening partnership that was that season, but it was quite a. I think it might have got up to double figures, but it was certainly 7, 8, 9 maybe. But the point is, it's a lot. It's something which we haven't got right at Somerset. I think every specialist batter at the club has been tried as an opener, apart from James Rue. They just nobody seems to be able to put their hand up and really sort of claim that mantle. I think we will see Thomas and Archie Vaughan open in the championship game on Friday. They opened together in the pre-season game against Yorkshire down in Desert Springs in Spain last week. So that's what I think we'll see at the top of the order. Archie Vaughan this time last year had a bit of a horror run, opening the batting in the sort of early part of the season, and was dropped down the order, found a bit of form there, and then was promoted back to the top of the order at the last few games of the season. He's been playing grade cricket this winter out in Sydney, which, as an Englishman can be you'd probably be a few choice words coming your way, but as an Englishman who's the son of the England captain that wrestled the Ashes back after 20 years of Australian dominance, it certainly would have been a baptism of fire for him out there playing. So hopefully, he's coming back with a bit of steel now, able to open the batting with Josh Thomas, who's sort of been around the club for a good few years now. Only ever really played in the One Day Cup, but got his opportunity last September against Essex. Scored a few runs, so he's put his hat in the ring as well. So Tom Lammonby will probably bat at 3. So James are at 4, Tom Abel at 5. Probably Tom Kohler-Campbell at 6, Lewis Gregory at 7. I expect Craig Overton, Miguel Pretorius, Jack Leach, and the spot we're kind of sort of working out, trying to guess who the club are going to go for is that last seamer spot. Do they go with like a Jake Ball or a Josh Shaw, or do they give it to one of the young guns like Alfie Ogborn or JT Langridge?
Absolutely. I mean, obviously, we know Jake Ball very well. A fantastic bowler, when he was in his prime, but injuries derailed him a bit, and he's been more of a sort of a T20 bowler for you, hasn't he? I mean, do you think that might be the Achilles heel, maybe that extra seamer spot? And, do you think you need, you never really replaced, feels like Matt Henry, he was brilliant.
Yeah.
Do you feel like you need like someone like that to come in?
I think we do, just purely because of the depth. I think 1 or 2 injuries, and we're really looking down to the sort of the younger lads in the squad, like James Theedham or Kean Roberts. I think we do need a signing. We haven't ever loaned anybody in over the last few seasons, but we potentially could, certainly in Championship cricket. But we could be looking at maybe a loan signing or 2 in if we do see kind of an injury crisis rear its ugly head down in Taunton. But I back those 2 young lads. JT Langridge is 6 foot plenty, genuine pace as well. Impressed in the One Day Cup last year. Alfie Ogborn's a bit more of a pitch up swing bowler. Again, he's a left armer as well. So I'm looking forward to seeing those 2 lads get the opportunity. But sort of from the squad depth perspective, I do think we do need another overseas signing.
Yeah, JT Langridge, not one I've sort of really come across much. So he's quite.
You can't miss him when you see him. He's about 7 foot tall. You can't miss the lad.
No, well, absolutely. And if he's got pace as well, that's always quite exciting, isn't it? So, and how do you, where do you think Somerset will come? I mean, I thought last year maybe a season of struggle, but again, never really felt like you're in any danger. But I suppose maybe you're thinking top 2, 3, maybe just out of reach.
I don't think so. I think we've certainly got the batting to compile big totals. It's. I think the key is the surfaces we can get down at Taunton. They were quite placid this year. Obviously, everybody knows about the pitch that we got deducted points for playing Durham on. That wasn't as bad a surface as a lot of people made it out to be. The trouble with the pitches at Taunton is you've got to leave a hell of a lot of grass on them to get them to have any sort of pace and bounce through them. And what was happening is they were leaving a lot of grass on them, and you were getting a decent amount of pace and bounce for the first 2 days. And then the last 2 days, they just went completely flat and completely dead, and batting was just incredibly easy. I think that was borne out by the game that the Somerset Notts game down at Taunton. It was sort of it was a bit of pace and a bit of nipping it the first 2 days. Somerset got bowled out for 200 odd. Notts got under 500 and plenty, and then Somerset were able to see out that final day without much of an issue. What certainly set us back first game last season was that Worcester game. Again, it sort of followed the same pattern, and Worcester were able to bat out 2 days, 100 odd, 100 or 200 overs, 9 down, and that just took a lot of the wind out of the guys. It was such a crushing. You want to say it was a defeat, but not being able to take those 10 wickets in 200 overs just took a lot out of them mentally, a lot out of them physically. And then they had 2 games on the road against Sussex and Surrey, and they just weren't able to kind of get themselves back on track to get wins in either of those 2 games. So I think we will try and they will do their best to try and make it a result pitch down there. I don't think it'll be quite what you saw against Durham last year, but if we all turn up next Friday and do see a hell of a lot of grass on the strip, don't panic. It's not going to do what you think it's going to do.
No, and all those comments about cider are bad. There's a bit of a thing of the past. You're just too scared about getting dot points again.
Yeah, I mean, as well with sort of the pitches there are quite slow. So even though when it is kind of turning, it's not sort of turning quickly enough to be back like the old cider of bad days. I mean, there's obviously we still got a 4-point suspended points deduction till the end of next season for any sort of pitch related mishaps. So we are going to sort of try and err on the side of caution there, I would expect. But yeah, the key and the groundsman, head groundsman Nick Peppers said this on many occasions. Just want to get more pace, more bounce, and more carry. And then he started going on about deeper root growth and that sort of thing, and that's where I got started going over my head a little bit. But yeah, we definitely want better pitches down at Taunton, because you don't win the championship by drawing your home games. You win the championship by winning your home games.
Yeah, absolutely. And I guess obviously spin is something that you've got an advantage over a lot of sides on as well. So yeah, it'd be interesting to see that. I mean, it's last 2 seasons, I think 2 years ago, we Joe Clark and Roy Young put on a record 3rd wicket partnership for Taunton. But it's always bad for me why we do so badly there. I mean, you've got such a good record against us. It doesn't seem to matter which pitches. Sometimes it's the spin, sometimes it's the seam. It just, I think, 1 year we got 400 batting first, you won. 1 year we got 500 in our second innings, you still won. It doesn't seem to matter what we do over there. Apart from 2021, it's pretty harrowing times, I think, from Notts' perspective. I can't put my finger on it. I don't know if you have any ideas behind it, but
no, I don't really. I mean, I think what was the game where Hasib Hamid, I think, just went for a little wander, got himself run out. I think it was George Bartlett, a gully through the stumps down, and then you sort of collapsed for about 95, 100 all out. I think that was sort of a bit sort of headless chicken batting, really. But I don't know. I mean, I can't remember us winning up at Treadbridge for a long while now. So I think it just goes to show that home advantage is really key now in Championship cricket, because you know what sort of wickets you're going to be producing week in, week out. So you know what you're looking for in the transfer market or in the overseas player market, and you know what type of bowlers, or you know what you need to be telling your young bowlers skills they need to be developing when you bring them up through the academy, if they're going to have a successful career at your ground. So yeah, home advantage I think is massive now in Championship cricket.
That was 2023. I got it. I was pretty sure it was. I didn't remember the run out, but 92 all out. Yeah, Hamid run out. Bartlett for naught. We were chasing 492 to win. So I thought I meant that was the
Can be done at
game.
Taunton. It can be done.
That was Notts' record defeat by runs in the championship, 399. There you go. Well, let's hope that doesn't happen again. I mean, Liam Patterson will actually have some good memories. He's got runs and wickets against you in the past, so so fingers crossed. I mean, it's supposed to be a good test for both sides, isn't it? You know, where are they this season? Because you know, I think if you come out with a win from that opening fixture, you're going to be feeling really good about yourself, aren't you?
Yeah, I mean, particularly both sides will see each other as rivals for the championship. So, I mean, our season is topped and tailed quite nicely. We got Notts at home in the first game. We got Surrey at home on the final game. That's the only time we play them this season. So, I'm really looking forward to it. I just want the weather to hold off. That's all.
Yeah, absolutely. Rich, love to hear your thoughts. And you know, where do you see both these sides coming this season? You see both challenging. Do you think it will be or more of a season of struggle?
I did actually have a quick look at the odds before I came on to see, and Somerset were actually second favourites after Surrey, which was, I mean, there wasn't much in between sort of Somerset and Notts, but they were sort of on the favoured side. I mean, I don't know how much information bookmakers have, but it was just interesting to see. You know, Surrey were quite clear favourites, which I guess no one's too surprised about, but it does feel like there's a lot of sides, just maybe. I know Notts managed to topple Surrey last year, but there's quite a few sides in that sort of I don't know what I call it, a middle bracket, but they've got a bit of a chance of probably aren't going to be on the relegation end, but they're also could quite possibly be pushing. I think that both the sides will be pushing Surrey fairly hard. I think they'll be bit close. I mean, I think when I was looking through some of the teams earlier, it doesn't seem like any team is particularly massively strengthened. That was across sort of the camp. Sort of across the whole Division 1 table, and there's not been too much activity. I think Notts is depth, and it sounds like it would be one of the main concerns for me. I think we got, well, I guess there were a few injuries, but it wasn't too bad. But particularly on the batting front, if someone was to be missing on the batting front for Notts, I think we'd look a little bit weak, and we've lost a few players that like Calvin Harris and Matt Montgomery, so there's a little bit of depth there. So. Yeah, I think I'd expect them to be both pushing pretty hard for Surrey for the title, but maybe both probably lacking a little bit unless everything goes rosy for us. So yeah, that'd be sort of where I'd be looking for Notts and Somerset.
How much do you think you see of Josh Tongue this year?
I think they might be a little bit wary to release him so often, especially there's a few injuries in the past. So I think he'll probably get a couple of run outs in both the sort of starting block and maybe nearer the end potentially. But I can't see Will having that much. I mean, it was crucial at the end. See that Surrey game, penultimate game last year, just blew Surrey away. So obviously we'd like him as much as possible, but I think it might be limited to sort of 4 or 5 games.
I think the final block will be tricky because if England are playing Pakistan around that time, but I think hopefully in the opening block, 6 games, and maybe we'll get 3. You think 3 or 4? I don't know. I guess it depends how long the matches go as well. You know, if there's some rain or if it's a couple of you win or lose in a couple of days, maybe they'll give them more overs. I don't know, I suppose, but I think that might be a problem towards the end of the season because I can't see him being available again to September unless, England don't fancy him. But yeah, bit of a surprise, wouldn't it? So yeah, but you mentioned recruitment. I think Yorkshire have been quite strong in that regard, haven't they? They brought a lot of players in. Yorkshire will have Chris Wogs back, so I'm quite interested to see. Is everyone thinking Surrey are probably the favourites and who you're backing?
I think so. I think having Alex Stewart back at the helm as well is massive for them. Obviously, in very unfortunate circumstances there, but I think he's a lot. Alex Stewart is the main reason for Surrey's dominance over the last 5 or 6 years in Championship cricket. I think they were in a bit of a poor state, kind of discipline-wise, and he just came in and he's run such a tight ship. over the last few years. I think they'll be very hard to beat with him back. And they're one of those sides, they just don't seem to be phased by England call-ups. They've got a squad of about 400 players they just seem to bring in at any one time, and they never ever seem weakened. I mean, their top three is probably going to be Sibley, Burns, and Ollie Pope for the whole season, you would have thought. Adding the likes of sort of Dan Lawrence, Ben Folks, they're just ridiculously strong. But they are. Anyone's beatable on the day, and if you turn up, play your best, and they have an off day, who knows what can happen. I think there's a couple of sides that could surprise me. You mentioned Chris Wokes will be available for Warwickshire for the whole season. I think that's massive. And Leicester as well, I think, are a side that's going to be more than the sum of their parts this year. They've recruited well, mainly from Somerset. But I think Alphonso Thomas has gone in a really tight ship, and he's got a great environment up there. I wouldn't be surprised to see Leicester give a few sides a few bloody noses throughout the season. And if they finish in the top three, again, I wouldn't be surprised at all.
Interesting. Rich, your thoughts on who think will win? And he.
I would say that Leicester could do well on the Notts podcast as well. I do apologise.
No, that's all right. It's friendly rivalry. I mean, they got quite a strong Notts connection. James Taylor's there, Paul Johnson's a coach there, Sol Bodinger, Ryan Ahmed obviously came through Notts to begin with before leaving. So, I don't think it's a strong rivalry there in that sense. So yeah, don't worry. Also, it tends to be more Derbyshire that I think Leicester tend to hate Notts more than the other way around. So.
Yeah, I don't think we'll be seeing Derbyshire, and it's good to see new sides in Division 1 as well, isn't it? Sort of see at the same time. But yeah, Glamorgan as well. It'll be interesting to see how they go. I think they'll probably struggle, but yeah, they've got lots of exciting players as well. So we'll see how it goes. But yeah, I think you have to give Surrey sort of quite a few teams, as I said, in the middle that you'd think maybe Warwickshire could do a little bit better than they did last year, and they'll be pushing hard. But I think Notts' first few fixtures, if they can get a draw at Somerset, we've got, I think, Leicester and Ashia and Glamorgan in the first few fixtures, so they could get off to a strong start, and I don't see any reason they're pushing. I think last year we both said top 4 for Notts, and obviously they ended up winning it. So I'll go top 4 again for Notts, and hopefully that leads to a similar result.
Yeah, fingers crossed for that. So, well, it's not long now to go. I'm just really excited. So, well, for everyone listening in, we'll be trying to do as many previews and sort of post-match reviews as possible. Chat about everything. And if for those listening to this, we've got a couple of special episodes out. One Monday, one Tuesday. Discussing sort of 10 years of Peter Moore's at Notts. This is his 10th season in charge. We've had Chris Adams talk about his time with Pete and some good stories about Notts as well. And Paul Farbrace as well, who was really interesting, again, about Pete, but also his thoughts on the county game, the breakdown relationship with the England side, and also an interesting pick for a player to look out for this season. So if you haven't listened to that, do have a listen now. Brilliant. Well, I think we should wrap it up there. I think that's a nice little preview for big blockbuster game to start the season off. It's making me even more excited. Trip to Taunton doesn't get much better than that, and that's probably my favourite county outside of Notts as well, just from the support you get. So I would hope you have a good season.
Yeah, thanks, guys. Are you coming down to Taunton next week? Did you say?
I'd love to. It's probably a bit difficult for me to get there, but I'll be on the stream. And I know yours is one of the best streams out there. So, looking forward to catching that.
Good stuff. Yeah. I'm looking. I can't wait. I'm just, like a kid counting down to Christmas every year. It seems to be a long, dark, rainy, horrible winter, and then all of a sudden March just seems to go in a flash, and then boom, you're there. Championship cricket's back.
Absolutely. What a way to end it. Rich, thank you as well for your time today. We'll be back again very soon. Thank you to everyone who's listened or watched.